Well, hi, and thank you for tuning in once again to a little presentation from Father Marcus from the Costa Blanca Anglican Chaplaincy. It's great that we can communicate in this way, and we're doing our very best to make sure that we're in contact with people right across our chaplaincy and further afield who can't gather together for worship or for Bible study or to do things that we normally do. But things are different. We've been able to go for a walk today. And how great is this? Look at where I am. I'm having a lovely day, a lovely day. Hope you're feeling okay. And if you're feeling a bit flat, it does seem that we are making little bits of progress and there is light at the end of the tunnel. So just hang in there for a bit longer and phone people, speak to people, just try and share a bit of joy. And I think every day, just try and find something that is joyful. And there we are. Our readings for Sunday in church, we're not in church, but Father Rodney is doing a live stream presentation of the Eucharist at 11 o'clock tomorrow, Spanish time. You can follow that on Facebook. Check out Rodney Middleton and you'll find it. The readings that we've had are such brilliant readings. The Gospel from John, John finishes John 10:10. I have come that you may have life and have it in all its fullness. Living life to the full is what our Christianity is all about, and living life to the full is at the heart of who we are. And maybe we need to spend a couple of moments just thinking, what is it to live life to the full? And it's not about amassing things together. It's not about wealth and status and all the things that we can grab. That doesn't give a fullness of life at all. That just gives us things to worry about in case we lose them. Now, I believe living life to the full is having something to do and having a sense of meaning and having a sense of purpose and having something that makes sense. I think those things are vitally important. And the other reading that we have today is from the second chapter of Acts, and it's a bit of the story of the early church. Let me just read these verses to you. This is what we would have heard in church. Many were baptized and added to the community. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and fellowship, to the breaking of bread and prayers. Awe came upon everyone, because many wonders and signs were being done by the apostles. All who believed were together, and they had all things in common. They would sell their possessions and goods and distribute the proceeds to all, as any had need. Day by day they spent much time together in the temple, and they broke bread at home and ate their food with glad and generous hearts and unaffected joy, praising God and having the goodwill of all the people. And day by day the Lord added to their number those who were being called. How great is that? This sense of the early church when there was a feeling of awe across the whole community, because this fellowship of believers were doing stuff. They were gathering together, and we can't do that at the moment. We can't gather together, but they gathered together to look at the teachings of the apostles and the teachings of Jesus, and we can do that. We can do that on ourselves, we can do it through our scriptures, we can do it through our reading, and we can try and get a sense of what is this message of Jesus Christ. And it's incredibly simple. We make it hard, but it's so simple. It's to love God and to love one another. So it's a complete let go of any sense of ego, putting someone other than ourselves first, God, and looking out for other people, loving one another. That's what we are called to do. And it's when we start putting that into practice, letting go of the attachment of gathering things and trying to think of others, that we find a real sense of purpose. And they had fellowship, and again, we can't do that because we can't gather together, but we can have fellowship like this, through the airways, on the end of a phone, just checking people out, phoning and speaking to people and saying, are you okay? And I value you and I honour you and I miss you. You don't have to say those words, but just talking to people gets them to have that feeling. And realising that there are so many things that bind us and tie us together. We can have fellowship at a distance at the moment, and then we can look forward to that great sense of joy that we're going to feel when we can be reunited in the flesh. And then the apostles breaking bread together. Christians have found no better thing to do in 2,000 years than to break bread. And again, we can't do that in person. We can't all be in church. We can't break together, but we can have a spiritual communion. I know we've mentioned this before, but it's such an important thing just to take something of the presence of Christ into ourselves. And then again, they spent time in prayer. And the message I gave the other day about being lost in wonder, love and praise, it means such a lot to be lost in our sense of prayer. And if we're finding it too difficult or too hard, maybe we're not doing it right. Praying is about just enjoying being in the presence of God. Think about it as you'd think about any relationship where you feel completely at home and comfortable with the other person. Well, that's the state we should be in when we're in prayer, just being comfortable in the presence of God. And in a good relationship, we don't have to try hard. Sometimes we try too hard with our prayers. And then in our scriptures it says, and there was a sense of awe, a sense of wonder, because of what these apostles were doing. They were doing wonderful things. Some of the stuff that they were doing is thinking about other people so much that they were getting rid of their possessions, the stuff that they didn't need, because they realised they didn't need it anymore. And they were looking out for other people. So if someone was in need, they made sure that they cared for them. And it wasn't just their own little group. It was looking out for anyone. And here's the thing. There will be a sense of awe and wonder if the church is visibly looking out for the people in its community. Not just looking out for its own members, but looking out for people, checking up on, caring for, showing value and honour, and letting people know that they're loved and valued and honoured and respected, no matter what their beliefs, no matter what their background, no matter whether they do or they don't come to church, no matter anything. It's a sense of sharing in our responsibility to make sure that people are okay. Do you remember what I said last time about being the miracle? We don't want a faith that is based on some sort of miraculous thing that makes us believe, and if we didn't have the miracles we wouldn't believe. It's about us being the presence of God. He has no eyes but our eyes, no hands but our hands. And so you and I are called to be the miracle. Yes, we are. And then if we know what we have, if we have a sense of purpose, if we have a sense of joy, if we create a sense of wonder, if we look out for people, if we find ourselves in that comfortable place with God, the thing that will happen is that we will discover that we are living our lives absolutely to the full. And in so doing, we will become such an attractive group that people will flock to become and finding out what it is that we've got, what it is that we've got that makes us exude such joy. Homework, boys and girls. Be the miracle. Be the miracle. Look at what you are doing with your life and see whether or not it's an example of loving God and loving your neighbour. Until next time, stay safe. Look out for one another. Pray. Pray for me. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. And enjoy your walks. Laters.